I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Hey, welcome back to Staying Salty. This week's video topic is about exercising with CF. Exercising for people with CF, and for anybody in general really, is extremely important. But for folks with CF, it's a way to help try to keep our lungs as strong and healthy as possible so that when we get sick or have exacerbations and our lung function starts to decline, we can start from a stronger place. Growing up, I was super active. I swam from about the age of 6 until I was about 16. I played lacrosse from 3rd grade all the way through my sophomore year in college. I firmly believe that this activity, swimming and running, playing sports growing up, really helped to keep my lung function strong as I got older and allowed me to go into college feeling healthy with a consistent routine that allowed me to stay active. But the question can be is how can we do it? How can we fit it in when you've got an hour and a half to 3 hours of treatments every day? If you're going to school, if you're working full time, or if you've got kids also, it can be difficult to fit it all in. So I just try to set a goal of exercising 3 to 4 times a week for 15 to 30 minutes each day. I've belonged to gyms and had gym memberships to work out, to lift weights and run on the cardio equipment. But when I got sick about 2.5 years ago, it was very difficult for me to get to the gym. My wife and I decided to buy an arc trainer for the basement. This was for 2 reasons. One, so I could exercise when it was more convenient for me, early in the morning or at night, but still be around for the kids to take them to school or to be home for bedtime and dinner. It was also because my oxygen levels had started to drop really low when exercising, into the low to mid 80s. So the doctors prescribed supplemental oxygen so that I could breathe easier while exercising and to try to give me that little extra boost. Well, I don't need supplemental oxygen full time now when I exercise. I always do work out with a pulse ox, keep it in my pocket when I run or when I'm doing other types of exercises. And I just periodically test my oxygen levels just to make sure they're still where they should be. Another thing I started doing recently is yoga. One of the things that can happen to CFers as we get older, from coughing so much, our shoulders can start to hunch forward and our hamstrings can get real tight, and we can sort of just start to kind of get into that sort of hunched position because we're from coughing hard and often, it just sort of starts to contract your body. So I started doing yoga to try to help myself stretch out and become more flexible. Also, since I try to do a lot of this from home, I've tried to find apps for my iPad or my iPhone or on the TV that work well. I found that an app called Yoga Studio works pretty well from a yoga perspective. I'm sure some of the other folks can suggest some better ones or different ones that work for them. And then besides running and doing yoga to stretch, I'll also do some workouts that I can do in my living room or in my basement. I've got a Basu ball in the basement and some light weights that I'll use to work out, just to continue some form of strength training. One of the other workouts I like to sort of add in as I go through the week to keep things different, it's called the 7-minute workout. It's an app you can get on your iPhone or your iPad, but it's 7 different exercises that you're supposed to do with 30 seconds on and then a 10-second rest. And if you do it all together, it takes 7 minutes if you don't stop. But it is a good workout that helps elevate your heart rate. And if you do it 2 or 3 times in a row through the cycles, it's all exercise that you can do at home. You don't have to have weights. It includes exercises like jumping jacks, push-ups, planks, side planks, wall sits, chair step ups. So different exercises that get your heart rate going, but also just build some strength. Well, exercising physically is important. It's also important to exercise mentally. That's why I meditate. I try to meditate between an hour to 2 hours a day. But it helps to keep me calm and focused. And I found that it's allowed me to stay calmer, to exercise harder, and to also be more compassionate on myself and not beat myself up when I don't get to the gym. Exercising is important, especially for those of us with CF. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I think it's one of the main reasons of why I was only hospitalized 3 times growing up before going to college. I also know it's one of the reasons that as my lung function kept falling and hit a low point, I was able to slowly get back into it, get on the arch trainer with the oxygen, and slowly just walk back up. I wasn't running fast again like I was before I got sick, but each day I could see that my lung function was getting stronger and my lungs were getting better, a step at a time. It can be hard to start over a lot of times after that happens, but the key is just to pick it back up and start going again. So as I wrap up this video this week, I guess the one thing that I would want to say is it is important to exercise, but you also have to take care of yourself and realize what's best for you. Maybe it is going to the gym every day and working out. Maybe it's just doing yoga every day. Maybe it's walking down the street on a regular basis. So whatever it is for you, I would just suggest just to get out there. Start small if you don't have anything going. Make a commitment that over the next 4 weeks, that twice a week you're going to get out and walk for 30 minutes. Maybe you do it at lunch. Maybe you do it when you get home. And then the next month, maybe those 2 days a week become 3 days a week. And then maybe the walking turns into running. One of the other things that I do at work to try just to get some exercise in throughout the day, it's not a ton, but every little bit helps, is I'll use a restroom on a different floor. So every time I have to go to the bathroom, forces me to go down a flight of steps and then back up a flight of steps or vice versa. Let us know what you like to do. Contact us through our social media channels, post it on our Facebook page or whatnot, and tell us how you like to work out and what activities you do to stay healthy. Thanks for listening this week, and I look forward to talking to you all again.
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.